Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. And if you are new, welcome to my channel. My name is Yasmin, and today guys, we're going to have a story time. So if you have looked at the Mac Finds video, then I know that you heard me say that I was asking my friend if she could read some things to me, just so, because I can't see very well, and so that I could tell you guys what they were. So I'm going to get a little bit into that. A few years ago, probably about 4 years ago, I was diagnosed with diabetic retinopathy, which is where your scar tissue, you develop scar tissue, but in the back of your eye, your retina, it's kind of like a piece of paper. I use my hand. It's kind of like a piece of paper. And when scar tissue gets attached to the retina, it starts to pull it. But your retina has to be flat and smooth for you to, be able to have, your good eyesight and everything. So when the scar tissue pulls on it, they have to go in, if you choose to, and take the scar tissue out. And they can either hold it with propane gas or silicone. Yes, the same silicone that you would use for an implant. And so that's, what happened to me. The scar tissue it attacked my retina, and it can grow back. So you will have they can go in and remove it, and then it can't come back. I mean, it can just come back. And so I was seeing I guess floaters and they're just little, it looks like little black lines, or it can be dots. You'll kind of see them when you look up or whatever, or when you kind of look out, you can it's almost like you can touch them, but or you can see flashes of light, stuff like that. And I had noticed that I was having a lot of floaters, and at the time I didn't know what they were. So I had just had an eye exam in May. So I was like, I wonder, this is around June, July. I'm like, what is this, And so I was looking it up and everything. And so by October of 2015, it had gotten so bad that I really could not see out of my left eye. And I was in school. I was having such a hard time. I ended up getting an incomplete in two of my classes because I could not see out of my left eye. And so, went to the doctor, and I saw two doctors in the same day. They confirmed it, yes, you have diabetic retinopathy, and it's really severe. So January of 2016, I went in for my first surgery, and I was so terrified because I had never had a surgery before. So they went in, they took out the scar tissue. It was blood as well, and not the kind of blood where it's leaking out, but it's like blood in your eye. And they excuse me, and they took it all out, and I did not do well with anesthesia, nothing. So I got so sick. I was just so sick after anesthesia, and I ended up after I had that surgery, just a little bit later, maybe a month or two later, I developed more scar tissue. I also had a blood hemorrhage, and I developed a cataract. And if you're not familiar with that, the cataract is when you're born, you have a natural film that is on your eye, and over time, in some cases, and you might hear about a lot of it, in older people, old people, they'll say, oh, I have a cataract, because it can get that natural film can get cloudy, or it can just get to the point where it's really messed up and you can't really see out of it. But I developed a cataract, and that's a very simple surgery as well. I got that removed, and they just basically, the doctor comes in, cuts that film off, literally puts like an implant. Think of it like a permanent contact on your eye, and it serves as the lens that they took off. And so so I ended up having 3 surgeries, and the name of it is a vitrectomy surgery, and that's when they go in and they take the scar tissue off, and take the scar tissue out, I should say. They take it out, and they give you, if they do propane, which I've had silicone and propane. The propane, you have to keep your head down. It's like chin to chest for like, I think it's 10 days or something, or 7 days. You have to keep your head down. You can raise it up a few minutes a day, like to shower and then to eat. So for like 30 minutes. But you have to keep it down because the propane has to go to the back of your eye and try to keep the retina smooth. So I had the 3 surgeries because I kept developing scar tissue, and I also had a cataract removal, and that was just on the left eye. And this is over the course of, I had 3 surgeries in 2015, and then I had another surgery in 2017 for the left eye, and the right eye was fine, but then the right eye just automatically just started to go crazy. I guess it wanted some of the action, and I ended up having 3 surgeries on that eye as well, plus a cataract removal. And so it was a doozy. I'm no longer able to drive. I used to drive work, I was like everybody else. But after that, it made me legally blind. And so and legally blind is such a broad spectrum, because when you're a sighted person and you hear that someone is blind or legally blind, you think, oh my God, like you just think blind, you can't see, that's it. But there are, being now in the visually impaired community, there are so many levels to being visually impaired and just legally blind and things like that. Some people that are legally blind, they actually can drive. They can't, they have issues and they can't see as well. But they can drive. But it's like maybe certain times of the day. It could be like night blindness. It could just be like certain things. But in my case, I lost all my peripheral vision. I have a blind spot, like right in the middle. I think it's about, right there. I lost I lost more than half of my vision, and it really, really changed a lot of things for me. Some are still, it's still a, what do you call it? A learning process. But there are a lot of programs, and there are a lot of people who also deal with these same ailments and who have lost their sight. And so it's a really big community out there, but it's such a doozy, because you miss things that you used to do and kind of take for granted, like getting in your car and maybe going to the store, or just getting in your car, going anywhere. I lost the ability to drive, and that in itself kind of put a damper on my life in a sense, because I'm not able to do some of the things that I used to do. And so yeah, it's very different. And it also becomes a humbling experience, because even if you weren't a person that took things for granted, it kind of humbles you, because you now need help with certain things, and it's just like it's like a whole another playing field. But yeah, that is my story time. So I just thought I would share it with you guys. If anybody else is going through any type of issue or ailment, and you are not alone, because I mean, people experience different things, different ailments that come along. Like when it happened, I was 30, so I had basically went like my whole life up until that point, and it's different, just kind of acclimating, to the world with your now difference. And my friends and family that really know me, they've been really good. Some people don't quite understand, but again, it's a learning process, and I like to call it my new normal, because it's literally a learning process. You learn different ways to do things. You learn different ways to just find out who you were, and kind of keep who you were, and keep yourself, like experiencing your new normal, like the way you now have to adjust to the world and to life. And sometimes it can be so hard not to lose yourself and who you were. But just like with anything, you learn different things about yourself. It forces you to really look inside yourself and to really discover what you want, because life can just be so short, and with things that we take for granted, So I just thought I would share that with you guys. And if you guys have any questions, or anything that you want to ask, I am an open book, so feel free. And as always, you guys, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And I hope you guys have a wonderful night.